So I have a question for y'all. Do people think you're quiet or shy? For me personally, I have been called quiet and shy for practically my entire life. I don't think I have probably went an entire 3 months without somebody telling me this information. Which is very unwarranted because it's like, I'm keeping to myself. Why do you have to announce that I'm quiet or shy? It is very clear that I am not opening my mouth. But for me personally, there are 3 specific reasons why I keep to myself and I am a quiet person. 1, I don't know people. If I don't know you, I'm not gonna say much. 2, I don't trust people. I don't know what it is, but I don't feel comfortable talking to people I don't know on the spot like that. It just really depends on the topic of conversation as well as the situation. But probably 7 times out of 10, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to watch. 3, another reason why I don't say much is because in general, people are just judgmental and people can be cruel and mean for no reason. And just for the sake of my own personal peace and mental space, I try not to engage with people that I don't really know unless I absolutely have to. Again, it's just the older I get, the more I don't have tolerance for people being rude or being disruptive per se. And I think people don't realize that a lot of times when I am keeping to myself being quiet, I am more so observing everybody else, observing the room, observing what other people are saying, how other people are moving, how other people are responding to things. Just physical reactions like body language. I am just kind of being a watcher and monitoring everybody's movements to some degree. And I know that sounds creepy, but it's like, for example, I'll laugh, but sometimes I will not comment. I will just keep my comments to myself, or depending on who I'm with, I will talk about it after the fact, like after we leave. But yeah, I am just very much let's see what you guys got going on here. What's going on with you? Why'd you say that? I'm like, what's happening? What's going on here? Because, again, I have to mention, I don't like speaking unless being spoken to for the most part. And a lot of times, I don't think people even realize, sometimes I just don't got nothing to say. Sometimes I really just don't have anything to contribute to a conversation, or somebody has already said something that I completely agree with, or sometimes I feel like I'm in a room where I could potentially disagree, and sometimes I know after listening to people and watching people that they're going to argue me down about my beliefs or how I feel about something. And I'm just like, yeah, this ain't the crowd for me, because I'm not about to argue with somebody who does not observe things from an unbiased perspective or something like that. You know what I mean? It just really depends on the topic as well, too, because sometimes I'll speak up about specific things I'm really passionate about, and then other times I just pick and choose my battles on what I want to speak upon. And there's also the factor that since I'm an introvert, it can be kind of draining being around people as well as interacting with people. I feel like my fuse of power goes out way quicker, and energy just, what's the word, expands, not expands, but like it just goes down much quicker when I'm actually interacting versus when I'm only listening, if that makes sense. If I'm just listening, I'm just like, taking it all in, listening to you. But if I have to respond, depending on other people's reactions, that can be even more draining or be more of an output for me. Then there's also the factor that when it comes to people thinking that I am quiet or shy, I've noticed over the years, and I don't know if it's just, I actually don't know what it is in particular, but I've noticed that people kind of find me to be a mysterious person. Like, they want to know more about me. They want to see what's going on because they're like, you're a person that's right here. Why haven't you said anything? What's your story? What's going on with you? Absolutely not. When someone is trying to get to know me, I automatically am like, why you up in my business? Why you trying to see what I got going on? we just hanging out, chilling or whatever, I don't have to be involved. I am just here for support. I don't have to say a dang thing. And maybe it makes people nervous sometimes when people don't talk, because I have heard people not necessarily say to me, but I have heard other people say they aren't a fan of quiet people because, they can't tell what they're thinking. And then in my head, I'm like, well, if you would just shut up, maybe somebody might want to talk. Because another thing is when you're around extroverts and they carry in the conversation, it depends on the extrovert, I must say. But sometimes, again, it could be a lot. It could be very overwhelming. And specifically, if you are around an extrovert that is one-track mind, one-sided, have their own opinions, don't want to listen to anybody, it's very difficult to engage with them. You know what I mean? But yeah, for me personally, I just don't like people in my business. I don't mind interacting in conversations that I'm actually interested in. But if I'm being completely real with y'all, a lot of times when I don't interact, I literally don't have nothing to add. Or I may not know what people are talking about. Because I can remember in high school when people would be looking at me like, oh, you're quiet or you're shy. How come you don't say anything? And I didn't want to flat out be like, I don't know about what music y'all talking about, what TV shows y'all watch. I can't watch those TV shows. Or people talking about different celebrities and stuff like that, because I remember the girls used to be talking about different reality shows, ones that I did not watch because at the time I did not have cable, and I could not really add anything because I didn't know certain information. So it was just like, I'm just gonna sit here and listen. I'm not gonna really say too much because I don't know what's going on. Or for example, I went to this one tea party that one of my friends had, and they were talking about this show called This Is Us. Now, last summer I started watching This Is Us. I didn't continue watching it. Man, that show had me in tears. Just the first couple episodes alone. But I remember the group of girls, they were talking about the show and everything that happened with it, and I'm just sitting there like silent. They're like, have you ever seen it? I'm like, no. I was literally the only one that never saw it. And they were just talking about different things. And don't get me wrong, some of the topics were interesting that they were talking about that happened in the show. But at the same time, it's stuff like that where if I don't really have prior knowledge, obviously I'm not gonna speak, But I will say I do feel like life is easier to navigate when I pick and choose who I interact with, as well as how I keep to myself. I know when I was younger, I used to kind of contemplate if it was an issue that I was quiet or if I was shy or if I kept to myself. But now that I am in my 30s, it is more so me having appreciation that I am like this, because since I am like this, I don't really get into too many things. Like, I have saw so many different people get into situations because they ran their mouths so much. Or, they interacted with certain people and they ended up having so many fallouts with friendships. Now, don't get me wrong, I have had friendship fallouts, but it wasn't on my part for the most part. It was literally somebody doing something that I didn't like, or someone not being honest about things. I just find appreciation in keeping to myself a lot of time. And again, I don't mind interacting with people because sometimes I do have spurts every 4 to 6 months where I want to actually interact with people and be around people. I know since summer is coming up, I'm about to be around that energy in a minute where I feel like, you know what, let's go do something. Let's go to the park or go to the beach or go camping or something like that. But for the most part, I absolutely enjoy my solitude and, being more on the quiet to myself vibe. Like, sometimes my fiance and I will have things that we attend and we'll interact with different people, but at the same time, again, I'm still observing, I'm still listening, maybe make some acquaintances, but not doing too much. And it's just amazing how the older you get, the more you realize how specific things you might have saw that were flaws when you were younger, sometimes you grow to appreciate them. And me being a quiet person, subtly shy person, I actually don't mind it about myself. anymore, and I feel like it's actually something that could be a quality for me now, where it helps me maintain a good mental healthy peace of mind, you know. So what about you guys? How do you guys feel when someone calls you shy or quiet? Like, what thought process goes through your mind? Because I know nowadays, when someone says it to me, I'm kind of like, oh, I'm normally like this. Because for me, I tell anybody, I gotta interact with you at least 10 to 12 times before I feel like I can really, really ha, cackle it up for real with you. And I know some of y'all might be like, girl, what? Dead ass. I have to see you a couple of times before I can understand what type of interaction connection I'm gonna have with you, because not every interaction connection that I have with each person is the same. It could be nice, because for the most part, the people that are long term in my life, my interactions are the same with them, but there are some people where you actually know and you interact with them, look at them, and you're like, okay, I know for a fact this is gonna be an acquaintance for me, or I know for a fact this is gonna be someone who I could potentially have a friendship with long term wise. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How do you feel about being shy or quiet? Is it something that you would want to change about yourself, or is it something that you have grown to appreciate about yourself? Hope you guys like this video. Make sure you guys check out my other chit chat discussion videos, which will be linked somewhere on the screen as well as in the description box down below. But I'll be seeing you guys again soon, so stay blessed, stay positive.